Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. We're going to go ahead and begin our presentation today. My name is Sean Telford, and I have Steve Costello, also FNC, on the line with me today. We certainly appreciate you all taking a few minutes to look at some of the new features and functions that we've added to our Data Express product. As mentioned, if you can hear me, then everything's working great. If not, then you may have some audio control issues, but all the audio presentation will be through the computer system, as you've discovered. All right, let's go ahead and move to the next slide, Steve. We're very appreciative, again, of your being here. If during the presentation you have any questions about the product or anything else, feel free to send those questions to webinars@fncinc.com, and we'll be happy to do our best to take a few minutes at the end of the presentation and address those questions, or if we are unable to address them today, we'll certainly respond to your question personally. Also, we will post a summary of any questions we receive on the conference registration website, where you'll be able to download the presentation today, and the slides will be able to be downloaded and recorded, and you can find other information regarding signing up for Data Express. All right, let's move to the next slide, Steve. As you all may or may not know, FNC has been around for many years, and our goal is to assist lenders and other real estate professionals in taking advantage of the data that is available, to aggregate that data into products and services that improve the lending process. We've been in business for many years. We have offices all over the United States. One of the main things that we do is help our lenders take advantage of all of the different data sources that are that are available today, whether that's public records, assessor's records. It varies across the United States, and also to take advantage, lenders and appraisers and other real estate professionals to be able to share certainly the non-private portions of the data they have access to share that in a manner that benefits the greater good and helps them make better lending decisions. And of course, FNC provides analytics and other tools to our customers, one of which we'll talk about today. All right, Steve, next slide. A sampling of a few of our clients. Many of you, I'm certain, interact with these clients on a day-to-day basis in providing appraisals or consulting or other valuation-related services. But these are the clients that are providing work and sharing data and information with the process. All right, next slide, Steve. The National Collateral Database is the foundation of our Data Express product, and it is comprised of many different layers of information. We have, as I described, public records information, valuation data, information from the web regarding for sale by owner, FEMA information, other specialized data, and so forth. We blend all this information into our database, which then allows lenders, appraisers, other real estate professionals that need to find out information about the physical characteristics of a property or a potential comparable or of a neighborhood to be able to do a search that provides a comprehensive look into that property. And we, of course, believe that we have the best data and information around. All right, next slide. So at this point, we're going to jump right into the product. Many of you may be familiar with the product. Many of you may not be familiar with the product. But Steve's going to walk us through some of the features and functions. And we'll be happy, as I said, to address any questions. You feel free to send them in at any time during Steve's presentation. And we'll turn the microphone over to you, Steve. Steve, you may not have unmuted yourself.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. We put a lot of time and effort into designing a brand new Data Express product to help appraisers get their job done faster and better, and hopefully with better data. So I'm going to run through this for you here in just a couple of minutes. There's a lot to it, but for not to drive everybody insane here, we're going to make it kind of quick. So let me point out some of the cool new features. One of the things it does before we even get into a search is it remembers your searches. So everything you've done is remembered down here in the line below. And what's kind of cool is you can resume it at any of 5 different places, wherever you stopped, however far you went with that search. You can get is in the dark, and then I didn't finish the search here, so it's lighter. But any of these places, from subject details all the way down to the comparables grid, you can restart a search. And we keep those on there for about 90 days. So you don't have to start all over after you go out and check comparables and come back and want to pull up a search again. Some things up here, you'll be able to go in directly from Appraisal Port, and it'll auto-populate your address right here in the address search area. But it's not just for that. You can use it for anything you want. So we have the subject search that you see here. You can also do owner's name searches, and you can even do an area search, doing a search for comps in an area without having to use a subject at all. So that's kind of some interesting features. We won't get into the detail right now. Now, as Sean alluded to, we have a lot of data, and we get a lot of it from public record, of course, and then we have people contributing appraisal data, both appraisers and lenders. We've had that going on for years and years and years, so we literally have millions of appraisal records, and we blend those into a blended record, and that's what we're showing right here. We also, Data Express gives you the option of just searching appraisal data. And so I'm going to show you real quick what it looks like. All you need for a search is your address, the state, and the county. And if you don't know the county, if you put in the city and zip, those are all optional, but those will find the county for you. And it'll even find cities that split counties. It'll look in both places automatically. Now, what I did here is I did an appraisal search, and what it does is it gives me a pick list of all the records that we have on that property from appraisals that we've captured over all these years. So we have one recently here at 4/17 of 2014, all the way back. That was a full appraisal, tells you what they are. So the comparable records won't have much detail on them, of course. All the way back, in this case, we got an appraisal on 9/15 of 1977. So if you wanted to see what the physical characteristics were of that property then you can do that. And we take all these records and then blend them into the blended record. And that's what most people normally search on, but this is just a real cool option to go back and look at appraisal data if that's something you want to see what was going on there with the other appraisers.
I'll make one comment, Steve. I know that one of the important things that we do differently than others is we have a process that we've developed over years that helps ensure that as we blend the data from various sources that we take the most reliable, most complete data, and that becomes part of the record.
That's absolutely right. It's quite a lengthy, long, drawn-out process. A lot of rules apply to what kind of records coming in, whether it's a full appraisal or a comp or whatever it is, and so there's a lot of looking at stuff. And this kind of gives you an example right here of what we're talking about. This is the detail screen for the property we just pulled up on MacArthur Way. Here, this happens to be in Orange County, California. And you can see some of the fields that we get from appraisal data, like patio, slab, fence, upgraded bathroom. You won't see that kind of stuff from assessor data. We also now have included both square footages. So we have the assessor's square footage, 1364, but this is also the square footage most likely from the last full appraisal that we've received, 1337. So you can see they're pretty close. The appraiser measured it a little differently, but they're reasonable. And something that appraisers might find very interesting is we have the condition and quality ratings over here from the UAD ratings. And so you can see the last appraiser thought that this property was a Q4 and a C4. So that kind of gives you a leg up when you're trying to figure out what Fannie Mae might think they This is a person who made, and that may be the last record they have. And so you can find out a little bit more about the property that way. Something else very unique we have is a complete sales history on almost every property. This is the sales history right here on this particular one. You can see all the way back to 77 here where this guy bought it. You can see interesting things going on. We'll show you notices of default as they happen. So poor Ruby here got a notice of default, and then you might wonder, okay, then she sells it to Mark up here, but what's going on here? Well, you can expand any of these and find out what's going on. In this case, she received a release of Liz Pendants, which basically means they released her notice of default. So you can see that this owner caught up with the payments, but probably a little too much for her, and she sold it 18 months later to Mark here, and then Mark's done a couple of refis since, and you can see exactly what he's doing. He refinanced it, probably got a better rate or whatever, and that kind of tells you what's going on. And that's available in all the comps, so you can tell if things are arm's length sales, if they're coming out of bank sales, so on and so forth. So, and then you can also pull a plat map for any properties where they're available. We don't have them available in the entire country, but most states we do. And moving on, when you want to build a comp search, you simply click Build a Comp Search, and you get this is the main filters page right here. You can see my filters as I've got them down. This is all the filters that are available. It just takes a couple of filters to do a search. It really doesn't require much. Recording date is required because we have to know when to search, and then these location-based filters one is required because we have to know something about where to search. So it's a when and where thing. All the rest of the filters are just kind of gravy to help you sort things down the way you need to find them, whether that's square footage of the house, a lot size, whatever it might be. I have 3 defaults. You can save your own defaults set here. I have 6 months. I have a ½ mile radius, and I have about 15% square footage. Either way. This populates all the info from the subject on all the different fields. And then you can pick and choose whatever comp search fields you want to have there based on whether you click them on this screen right here. So whenever you have a check mark, they show up, and when you uncheck them, like if I don't want to see zip code anymore, I uncheck it, it goes away. So we don't have to look at it. So we're really ready to go for a search here. But I might look at this and say, here's my subject right in the middle. But you know what? I really don't want this. Tool favorite, and it's our polygon drawing tool. So I can basically start wherever I want and draw my neighborhood where I think I want to do my comp search. You may be familiar with this, some MLS. And then it automatically erases the radius, and this is our new search area. So in this particular case, we're going to search 6 months, this polygon, and everything that has within 15% square footage to the subject's 1337. And we'll just send it off to search. It takes a second. We got 16 results back. If you don't like that, you get 1, you get 90, whatever you want to adjust, you just simply decline your search, and it goes back to the filters. In this case, we'll accept 16. That sounds like a good number. And it takes a second to then go out and pull up the records on all 16 of those properties. And it displays them in a nice one-liner format that we call it. And this, you can do a lot of things here. This is kind of your main page to work with your comps. And so these columns right here, you can make those and adjust them any way you want, simply by hitting this Set Displayed Fields button. And everything over here on the left is what you see I have listed here, and everything on the right are things you can add yourself if you want to see those particular fields. And then they're easy. You can move them around. If you want lot size up 1, you can move it that way, and so forth. You just hit Save, and then it comes back however you've adjusted it. It comes back, the search comes back in distance order, but all these fields are all sortable. So, if you want to sort it by date, you simply click on the heading, it sorts it by date, sort it back by distance, whatever you want to do. So it's very user-friendly that way. It gives you a lot of ability to move around and manipulate the comps and see what's there. You can look at the detail on any of these comps. You can look at that sales history that we just looked at on any of these comps, so that's all available. So maybe, we look at these. Looks kind of cool here. Looks like they have a model match basically right here, and then a couple that are pretty close. That one's pretty close. I kind of like these first 5, and we can select those. And you can select them all and look at them. You can do whatever you want. It's just easier. We'll select these 5 and go to the next level here and put them on a map. So basically that one-liner, the map, and the grid view I'm going to show you here in a second are your kind of your basic tool board for looking at all your comps. So here they are. We list them over here. Here's your subject and the comps. These maps are all interactive. You can compare it to the subject if you want. So here's our subject, here's our comp. These are those fields that you picked. And you can also go to a satellite view. And you even have our little guy, you can go and do a Google Street View. So all that stuff's all available right here. You can see the houses, see what they look like, see if they're really a model match. From here, you can go to the grid view. And again, the grid view is going to compare all the comps you picked, and then it's going to use the same parameters that you picked over here. You can actually reset the displayed fields here and make these any fields you want in any order you want. And so this gives you another platform to do a comparison down the line. You can say, oh, well, here's another 3-bedroom. I like that one better. You can just grab it and you can move it over and make that one comp 2 instead. So you've got all the 3 bedrooms and then the 4 bedrooms over here. However you do it, I mean, that's totally fine. So from there, you're pretty much almost done. Whatever comps you want to take, you can export them out. We have a bunch of different export features here. We're working with a lot of the software programs. This CSV function here will actually load it directly into your ClickForm software. We're working with the other vendors here to get some things up and running. One thing that's popular is generating Excel spreadsheet. Gives you a lot of the different fields. And we'll open up Excel, and there's our subject and our 4 comps that we picked. And there's pretty much everything we know about them, all on a nice sheet. So you can include that in your report, move this over to other software, whatever you want to do with it. And that's pretty much how it works. Okay, Sean, I'm going to go back to the slideshow. And we can answer any questions about that. Let's close Excel.
Sure. Thanks, Steve. We certainly appreciate the quick overview of the new features and functions. And we, again, we would be happy. We have not received any questions so far, so we're hopefully it's self-explanatory, the features and functions of the new Data Express. But if you think of any between now and whenever, feel free to send them to webinars at FNC.com, and we'll be happy to address them. And again, we'll post the information regarding signing up for and accessing Data Express on the webinars homepage, where you'll also be able to play back a copy of our presentation today. So again, we've received no questions, and so Steve, thank you for your presentation, and thank you to all who took the time out of their schedule to join today, and we wish you the best, and thank you for your for being interested in our products. Have a great day.
Thanks, appreciate it.